Hello and welcome back to the channel. So my name is Zach, and just a little bit of background is I've always wanted to be a professional athlete, hence the name of this channel, No to Pro. So recently I've been building back. So from about February I've been a bit sick. I mentioned that in my last video. Uh, Basically I'd get a cold or illness or something. Uh, I would have to take 3, 4 weeks off the bike, get back into it, do a week or two. Same thing happened for the last 6 months. Now, what I want to show you today, I want to show you today my recent block. So what I want to do is just bring you up to date of how my training is going, because it's looking up. We're doing good, guys. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we have just a view of my today's plan. Let's start. So 4 weeks before the block started. So you can see I did some best start of July. I was doing a little bit of training. I had a good week. I was happy. Then nothing. Took the 14th off. I was feeling a bit phlegmy there, bit of a cold. And then nothing for weeks on end. Little 15-minute ride. And then basically into training from the 14th to 15th of August. So you can see basically from the 14th of July to the 15th of August was nothing. So 4 or 5 weeks detraining. And so you can see I started off the block, with a CTL of 6 for the bike and 2.5 for the run, which is pretty nonsense. It's basically nothing. As good as nothing, even worse than nothing. So what did I do? I got into it. I restarted and I was like, you know what? We know what we need to do. And I started a training block. So let me just bring up uh, this stuff here. So I mentioned I've basically been detraining since February. Uh, and basically what I will do is I'll bring you up to this week here, week 40. Now, what I'm doing at the moment is I'm doing basically a 5-week training block. So what I was supposed to do, so imagine you start off here, this is your week 1, that's your base. Week 2 you build, week 3 you build again. Now, this is where I made a mistake, because I calculated back from a future race down in the future, 5 weeks. Now, instead of going from here and doing 3 and then my next 2 lots, I ended up having to do 5 build weeks. But the theory is you do your starting race, you do 1 build, 2 build, you then recover at this level here, and then you maintain it for a 5th week. But what I ended up doing was I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 builds, and then recover, and then the maintain. So instead of doing a 5-week block, I ended up doing a 7-week block. But, let me get into what I actually did. So this is more of just getting back into it, just doing a bit of a build, a bit of a base phase. So I started off so I'm doing like 4 rides a week. So you can see here, 3 endurance rides. I don't know why I moved it off from Monday. Maybe I just wasn't feeling it. Maybe I slept in. But generally I'm doing, you can see Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday of endurance. And I started off endurance at 140 watts is the pace I was going. So you can see it was quite, it wasn't hard. 140 for me. So should be doing, 140 should be recovery. But because of the 6 weeks off, 140 is quite tough. And you can see my average heart rate was 147 for, this 30-minute 140. I will go into my weekend sessions, but first I just want to go a bit more into this and show the progression of these endurance rides. So you can see, let's go, so this is week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is basically my peak week. And we'll dive into here. So you can see I went from doing 50 minutes of total riding to 50 minutes at endurance pace. So still at 140 watts, but my average heart rate has dropped from 147 down to 140. So as I'm getting more into these rides, into this base session, not only am I doing longer sessions, like yes, my power's the same, but my body is doing a lot better. So you can't just do endurance training. So what else am I doing? So in terms of riding, I'm doing a tempo. So this is probably a good example to start with. So the intervals I've been doing is 20 minutes on. Well, I've been building it every week, but 20 minutes on at 185 watts with 10 minutes off. So, it's not this 185 should be my endurance pace. But as I said before, I've had 6 weeks detraining. So 185 is actually quite tough. You can see I'm doing 159 BPM, whereas my threshold is like 165 BPM. So it's pretty close to the threshold. Now, so let's just have another look at that. So you can see, so 160 BPM for 185 at 20 minutes. Now, if again I go back to the peak week, which is here, you can see I'm doing a lot longer of a training session. My intervals, so for that same, I'm doing 25 minutes instead of 20. Heart rate is the same, but I'm doing 5 minutes longer. So you can see I'm able to push, same watts, same intensity, but for longer. And I'm slowly building up my strength. Getting back into where I should be. Now, this is just that's the riding I've been going into. But you can see I started off week 1. I just did riding because I don't want to push myself too hard. When you go into a new training base set, you want to make sure you can actually keep going. So we start with the riding. Now from week 2, I added in 2 more runs. So just a long endurance run, and then a slightly easier run off the bike, off the tempo. So you're getting the race intensity. So you're doing the race power, and then you're doing your run. And basically it continues slowly building, and I've also got a midweek endurance run as well. So you can see my pace is also starting to slowly improve. So 8 minutes 10 to 7:30, 7:40s, 7:50s here by week 3. Now I'm in the low 7:20s, 7:30s. By this point, 7:06 for the fartlek. So this is the peak week. So peak week is where I'm here. Now then these were recovery rides. And then you can see, so from week 7, so my hold, you can see 7:20, 7:20, 7:30. You can see like overall speed's getting faster, but this is 143, 144, 126. So you can see overall my heart rate is dropping, 145, 144, 149. Heart rate is dropping while speed is going up. Now, finally, what you can also see, which is quite interesting, is I'm only doing 1 swim. Yeah, I hate swimming, which is why I'm not really doing any. I'm only doing 3 triathlons this season, and rest will be my triathlon racing. So I'll be releasing a video later on that just goes through how I plan to build into each race, what races I am going to, and I'll find out soon what races will be part of the block. But I just wanted to let's have another look. So you see I did 3 hours and a half week 1 to 5.5, 6.5, 6:50. Peak week at 7 hours 50, down to 6:50, and then 8:20 when I added in an extra ride and added in an extra run. But I'm doing about 8 hours 20. Don't ignore today. Anyway, so you can see slowly building up the pace, slowly building up the intensity, slowly building up the time. And that's all leading to this sort of graph. So you can see I've started off here, quite basic, quite, low low level, slowly building up, till I get to here, to peak week. Chronic training load of 28.6, so that's my average of my 7 week rides, with an ATL of 60. That's my 1 week intensity. Now, if you were to compare that to where I was at my peak early in the year, you can see 47.6 to, 28.6. So you can see I've dropped a CTL of 20. Now, I will be building that back up over the next, pretty soon. But this is just, build week one, build to here to 35. So you're 35 to 47, so you're talking 12. Talking 12 CTL, which is actually not too much. Just add another ride in the week and you're there. Now, so this has been, I've actually done really well. So you can see end of, holds, I'm sitting at a CTL of 20.6 and basically 15, so 21 and 15 for my running and riding. Ignore the swim, yeah, I need to build that back up. But you can see it's not doing too badly. I would be actually pretty keen to get back into racing at this sort of level. It's still low. I would love to be in the 50s, 60s, 70s overall. But, this is basically enough just to meet the bare minimum. But yeah, if you guys have found there's anything, you want to know more, just make sure to subscribe to the channel. I will be documenting my training. I'll be doing a recap video on each block I do, showing how I do it, why I'm doing each thing. And yeah, hope you liked the video. Make sure to comment down below. See you next time.